Hello, everybody that is here. My name is Heather Haro. I am the CRO of DiversifyRx. We are so happy you're here, whether you are a member or a friend or just hopping in to see what in the world Diversify is and who this Heather chick is or whatever. We're happy to see you too. I am very happy. So I have to admit that Craig Robinson is one of my very favorite people. They cherry pick RX or RxCherryPick. They come to our Diversify show every year, and he is never in his booth. He's always wandering around. And I absolutely, you'll find him in fantastic shirts to make him very easy to spot. And I love his personality, but I love more that as we were talking before we went live, how fantastic him and his brother are to independent pharmacy and how they take the time to help you exactly where you are, as opposed to being cattle and being cattle driven into some program that may not fit your particular pharmacy. So, hi, Craig. I'm so happy you're here with me today.
Hi, Heather. It's always good to see you. And it's interesting that you and I are seeing each other outside of a bar. So that's very nice.
Don't tell all my secrets.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me in a nutshell, for folks that have no clue who you are, what you do, tell me what you do.
Okay. RxCherryPick is a free service to pharmacies. Our purpose is to create as much cash flow and savings as as we can possibly generate for you. And we're absolutely dedicated to that. So, and that occurs at the order placement every day. So RxCherryPick, very easy to use. You will log into, if you become an RxCherryPick customer, and actually, if is a big question, because we screen our clients heavily, because you have to be committed. Even though it's free, you really have to commit to a change of your financial philosophy and how you view things. But all it is, you log into RxCherryPick, you build your order on RxCherryPick, your entire order, and then hit submit, and we place your order for you every day, rather than you going out to your primary and 5 or 6 other sites trying to get good pricing. And we use our volume, about $1.5 billion passes through RxCherryPick. And so unlike pricing platforms, TrexAid, EsriRx, FarmSaver, we leverage our impact on our preferred vendors. So it would be your primary and maybe 4 of our preferred vendors. And there's 2 factors that are very important. One, we get exclusive catalogs from these vendors that you can't see anywhere else other than RxCherryPick. And we get terms. And I think later in this, Heather and I will talk about how important terms are relative to your cash flow. This really is a game changer, and especially as to what's taking place now with pharmacies not being reimbursed fully by the PBMs on brand name drugs and losing huge amounts of money. So we have strategies for all of that.
Dive in just a little bit, because I think this is the most important part, is what is that change of financial ideals? What is that mind shift change that you're promoting in your strategy?
Yes. One, everybody who's listening that owns a pharmacy, I'm going to give you the secret formula to finding out how much cash flow you can generate and how much savings you can generate. It is take your daily prescription volume So let's say you do 150 prescriptions a day, multiply that times $2,000. Okay. That comes up with a number of $300,000. That's a very conservative number. That's the financial change we're talking about. You have to ask yourself, well, I don't have any money and I don't have any cash flow. I'm having a hard time meeting my bills. I might even be behind with my primary. So now they're forcing me to buy every day. So really, you don't have terms anymore. That $300,000 is half of it shows up within 8 weeks. And that is a function of terms. And I'm not counting reimbursements. So actually that number is about double that. When we talk about the financial adjustment you have to make is you have to step away from the rebate. You no longer factor in the rebate. And many of your pharmacies are going to go, oh, I can't live without that rebate check. I wait for that rebate check to show up because that's how I'm paying my bills. Well, yes, because they took away your money and then they're going to send it back to you. RxCherryPick goes, that money should never leave your account. That money always resides in your account. So we also help smooth out your payments. But one of our vendors gives you 45 days on brands. Okay. It's 45 days daily ACH. So you have this bubble of 45 days of cash flow on brands, 60 days on generics. But what you have to realize is now you're being, which no one's doing anymore except for our RxCherryPick clients, is you are now being reimbursed before you have to pay for your product. Okay. If you're on weekly payments, you have to pay before your reimbursement. You're not sure when your reimbursement, which now is putting you in a negative cash flow situation. Our RxCherryPick is at 45 days, brand name reimbursements typically come back to you about 16 to 20 days. At 45-day terms on brands, that means you're reimbursed twice if you're regularly buying this. So I can see, you nodding away of going, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It allows you to control your own destiny instead of somebody else believing they know better to control your destiny. It's like you're being double taxed. It's like they pretend to be the federal government, the IRS.
Yes.
That's instantly what I think of is now pharmacists now have two IRS to deal with because they pay all the money and then they wait for the rebates. So RxCherryPick, RxCherryPick, our biggest love that we have for you is not only is it you lower your cost of goods, so they're not paying as much upfront, and you get all of this financial benefit that creates actual cash flow.
Yes.
Jerry just asked, do you attend wholesale or buying shows?
Well, okay. First of all, I'm talking about getting rid of the rebate. So there is only one show that has the guts to have us attend, and that would be DiversifyRx. I'll tell you a little story of one of the wholesalers, major wholesalers, that I used to sort of go to where they were at because I like to meet with our clients. I'll take them to dinner, lunch, drinks, breakfast, because sitting around talking to pharmacists, we learn a tremendous amount. Well, this was at a very large hotel in Nashville. We all know which one it is. And I usually book one day before the trade show of this major wholesaler and the day after. They found out I was in the building On my second night there at 10:30 in the evening, 3 hotel security guards showed up and said I was trespassing, which I find interesting because I had the room. But they just said, we've had complaints. Well, they had complaint from the company that was spending $5 million with them. So they removed me from the hotel. So the answer is, I'm not welcome, except for one place, at trade shows, buying groups, mainly because we talk about the truth. You can be all dedicated to a buying group and they used to be good for you. If you're in financial distress or behind, and you're following their rules, well, it just showed you what's happening. You are in that because they've created the environment, and now everybody's afraid to have RxCherryPick around, state organizations and stuff, because the big 3 will pull funding from that, and we've all had experiences of how much funding they're willing to do. So it's long, short. No, we call me up, watch a video. I'm happy to talk to anybody.
You do talk to anybody. I love that about you. And we love that you come to our show. It's a little feather in my hat that I actually got you to get a booth every year,
because we don't buy booths.
Yeah, it's one of Heather's claim to fame. So step number 1, which all pharmacists should do, is first sign up with you, and that's a free account, correct?
Yes, and it's signing up. Again, this is not an easy process. We collect a tremendous amount of information on your pharmacy because we are very zeroed in on the pharmacy. So we don't use general pricing or anything. Everything is specific to your pharmacy, partly because and again, we don't factor in a rebate. If you're really stuck on a rebate, it's not going to work for you. So, nothing I can do about that. You give up the rebate, but you exchange it for, let's say 150 scripts a day. In 8 weeks, you're going to have $150,000 minimum, probably closer to $300,000 in your bank account. So it alters that panicky sort of feeling.
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs asked, does RxCherryPick have access to a lower net cost of goods than much larger alternatives, such as buying groups or GPOs? If so, please explain how.
Well, yes, we do. Because the preferred vendors give us an exclusive catalog. And the reason why we're able to get an exclusive catalog is they don't spend any money getting the sale. I put together the package, I get them signed up, I bring them to the wholesaler. In exchange for lower prices and terms, these secondaries are under pressure. It's a very complicated and sort of not ethical world out there, the pressure that's being applied. If a secondary wholesaler produces a price that, say, a full line wholesaler doesn't like, I'm not here to prove it, but generally they're worried about the manufacturer selling to the secondary being under pressure to make a choice between the big guy and the little guy. Okay. So we do not allow our clients to share pricing. We don't allow them to shop it around. And we do have very strong agreements with our vendors not to publish the pricing other than specifically to you. When you place your order with RxCherryPick, you will see the price and you will see that, but it's dramatically cheaper. I will say one thing, and I don't want us to skid down this path. I know everybody's focused on price. Pharmacists got to adjust themselves. It is, if you are behind with your primary, so you're not current with your primary, then you have been nicked at least once every time you fall behind by 8 to 11% on your entire order. So if you're at brands and you think somehow that your rebate is putting you at WAC -5, first of all, you're not getting that because you're shopping around trying to find cheaper generics, so you don't meet the GCR. You can never beat this game. Then you've fallen behind and you got to add in 11%. So even best case scenario, you're on brands are at WAC +6. Okay. So looking at a true WAC -3 on brands is a huge advantage to you. It's so many pharmacists that I talk to just want to believe they're getting better pricing, and they aren't. You're also, I don't know, Heather, you might want to hit the pause button or something.
Nah.
But buying groups, there's been a shift in buying groups. Buying groups now work for their sponsoring wholesaler. And buying groups, how you can tell is if they're pushing rebates and GCR, that's not a good sign. I'll tell you what if fair market GCR is. So that would be if you're buying at a fair price, your GCR should be around 8.5%. If your buying group is telling you you can get a 40% rebate, but you have to have a GCR of 18%, you have to be overpaying for your generic drugs by 100-200% just to get that number there. And sit down and do the, I won't walk through a math problem with you, but triple the price of a drug you pay for and then see what 40% is coming back. And it's not, you're still overpaying by 40-50%.
Right. Well, and these are the kinds of in-depth conversations that you have when folks call you. They really become strategy sessions as opposed to being sold. I know that you're a terrific salesman, but it really is not being sold. It's really being taught a strategy that you can use this service and then go on and be successful. I mean, that's what we're all here for, is wildly successful. But I will say this probably 17 more times throughout this, is that you take the time to really dive into each individual pharmacies.
Yes.
And I love, because you're such a straight shooter, you will tell you, hey, your shirt's ugly if your shirt's ugly. I love that about you. But you'll tell people, I can't help you. If you're unwilling to move this way, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yes.
And how refreshing is that?
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to make an independent pharmacist's life is so stressful. And a lot of times, what I've been trying to figure out how to incorporate this into some sort of marketing thing, because when you become an RxCherryPick client, you sleep better. Because when you're not, you are worried all the time. And the other part is that our clients take vacations. And so it's like, become an RxCherryPick client, sleep better, and take a vacation.
Sleep better and go on a cruise.
Absolutely. It is something that, again, this is the sad environment. So many of these pharmacists, they've had to skinny down their staff to the point where they're working 6 days a week. They can't take off. They can't afford to have someone come in and take over for them for a week, or even go down to Diversified show for 3 days. They can't afford it. Well, RxCherryPick allows you to do that, because again, I call cash flow and savings, I call that working capital.
Right.
And going to DiversifyRx is the best working capital you can have, because Heather and Lisa are very, very careful about what vendors are coming in there. We don't see, excuse my language, bullshit vendors walking around your trade show. Okay.
We appreciate that.
I mean, well, besides me walking around, but I will talk to.
Yeah, the point of that is to make sure that folks, that we honor that working capital, that we honor their time, their money, that when they're with us at the show, that they're getting strategies to take back, that they start those first steps in the courses. I often refer to our summit as almost a mastermind. Like it really is a dive deep into, and I didn't need for this to go on a tangent about how you should buy your tickets for the summit. But you should buy your tickets for the summit. But it really is about honoring the work that folks are doing, and we try to do that our very best, as do you. So number one, sign up and go through the if you're good enough test, and if you're willing enough test, and if you want to be in the cool kids club test, basically. Number two is you're going to get Craig one-on-one to ask him questions. He'll go on a deep dive with you, figure out how you need to either keep doing amazing, because not everybody's in the hole. And if you are in the hole, how to get yourself out of it and stop playing an unwinnable game. That's basically it. What's the third thing that we're going to do after you say, okay, Heather, you've signed up, you're willing to change. I think you're going to do fantastic. Here's where we need to start. What's that third thing? What's going to make somebody just uber successful with RxCherryPick?
The really next thing is then you will tell your techs, we're going to, rather than logging into your primary now, we're going to build our entire order on RxCherryPick. And think of this as a financial advisor telling you where's the best place to buy these, these line items. And so you'll have the primary and 4 of our vendors automatically selected. It takes us about 2 weeks to if you're building your order on your pharmacy system, there's some hoops we have to jump through. Takes about 2 weeks for us to get the EDI set up. But you really don't want to waste time. It's very easy to build an order on RxCherryPick. It's NDC or item number, add. NDC, item order, add. It doesn't take, a full day's order wouldn't take you more than 10, 15 minutes. But we're talking about saving you probably anywhere from $800 to $1,400 a day in savings. And then in cash flow, it's just a massive swing. So it's all you're going to do is I will have Sarah call you up, set up a time to train. We will train you that day. You're going to, place your order, and thereafter you're going to be placing your order. Takes 20 minutes to train. It's not very hard. So, it is there.
I love that you said training. Richard asked, does RxCherryPick integrate with pharmacy software?
The pharmacy system, most of them we do. There's a couple that don't. So in a question like that it's twofold. What Richard was asking is, okay, can I import my order into RxCherryPick? Yes, there's a number of different ways of doing that. And then am I going to be able to get EDI back into my acknowledgements, back into my system? And the answer to that is yes. It all takes work. I know everybody thinks it's a flip of the switch. It isn't. And again, we have people we work with. I mean, Pioneer, Liberty, RX30, all the biggies. it's done. You just have to be patient a little bit for those first 2 weeks to get this all set. It's an extremely particular way of it. It just isn't smooth.
Sure.
And again, you gotta remember the big primary wholesalers did this, so that you couldn't change. Pioneer now sold to an equity group, but when they were owned by a full line wholesaler. You had pharmacy systems, that were owned by full line wholesalers. Well, they didn't want you moving away from them. They wanted to make it as painful as possible. Well, the painful part, even though they're not owned by those companies, is still there, but we have our own teams built out. Heather, you can attest to this. John and I are little pit bulls. I mean, we will dig in and fight.
Well, that's my favorite part is you, and I've known you for many years now. You've never wavered. There's never been a change. Now you will mold yourself if the industry requires it, but your talk track, what you're preaching, what you're telling people has never changed to fit the wave of today or the fad of today, or you truly are in it for the independent pharmacist, and I think that's why you guys have been successful for so long. So one of my favorite questions that we get about RxCherryPick, and it makes me laugh because Lisa and I talk about it all the time. We're marketing nerds. And you have the absolute ugliest, scariest website on the face of the planet, but it's designed that way. Once you explain to me, I don't want to be flashy. I don't want to send up red flags. I want to help the people that I help. I want to keep away the people that I can't. I've left you alone about it. But that is the number one. I'm not joking you. The number one question we get is, are they for real?
Are we for real? I mean, when the big three represent $750 billion and they're leaning on us not to succeed, I'm sorry, I'm not putting something out there to help them, and I get a lot of calls from pharmacists that go, you just get to the point. And you don't waste my time. And if that isn't a description, we're not going to waste your time. I'm going to screen you. And the reason why I screen you is not because I'm a mean guy. I could be, but is that I don't want you to have to go, okay, well, yeah, sure, I'll get started because I just want to do pricing. If you don't get the full financial impact that you need to understand to impose your will as an owner on the techs to achieve this goal, because no one likes to have a workflow change. Think of your phone. I mean, I know I have to get a new phone, that kind of thing, but I know how to use my phone.
That's right.
And getting a new phone means it's just little tiny things, and I'm resistant to that. Well, techs, quite simply, I'm going to be straight. It's much easier to just push everything to your primary. That's the easiest thing to do. If you have techs who, are supposed to work till 5 and they want to get out at 4:55, pushing to the primary is very easy. It's all set up to do. Yeah. If you want to put $300,000-$400,000 in your bank account in a very short period of time, I'll tell you, that's part of the screening is, are you willing to work for it? Because we're a free service, but it isn't free as far as change goes.
Right. Well, I think we covered everything. I'm within my 30 minutes. I've promised everybody in our promotions and our marketing that I won't take up a lot of their time with a bunch of fluff, which I don't, if you know me, it kind of happens anyways. Does anybody else have any other questions for Craig? Now, I will say, and I'm going to share my screen for a moment. I did want to share how this all works with our brand new pharmacy profit roadmap. We are thrilled with this. Can you see my screen, John? Everybody see my screen?
Yeah, I can even see it.
So this is inside our membership. If you are members, this is familiar to you. If not, this is what it looks like. This is the secret sauce. So we truly believe that pharmacy owners now have to be CEOs. That, you know, there's just too much chaos, just like we talked about today, too many games that you guys face in everything you do, even trying to order your drugs. So you have to become a CEO. And how Lisa really put this together was amazing. We launched this summer, but it is our matrix. And we would love to think that pharmacy ownership is linear. You can just go start here and finish here, and that's just not the way it works. Some pharmacies need this one and this one down here and this one up here. So Lisa has put together, and the team put together our new pharmacy. It's a matrix now instead of a roadmap, although use it as a guide. So it has our triage, which is you're on fire. These are emergency items. Let's get these done. And you have all of these. It's self-selecting. Now, down the left side is triage. We'll have fix and build and grow. So we're going to triage the pharmacy, what the heck needs to go on. We're going to fix those problems that are on fire. We're going to build you strong foundations after you have your feet under you, and you're going to grow. And you're going to grow like crazy. Above the top is your KPIs, is really our pillars: KPIs, revenue and profit, team, and marketing. And where our friends at RxCherryPick fit is right here, lowering your RX cost of goods. They are in the fix protocol portion, because friends, you want to fix your cash flow. We need to fix cash flow. So it's under our revenue and profit and right in our fix. And the way you will do that is you'll go through those courses. And some of these courses, some of these talks are actually from folks like Craig who have the insight, and then some are of Lisa and our team. We've designed this to be a good mix of both. So we don't believe we know it all. We need to learn from others anytime we can. And this is a perfect example. So under our new matrix, it's fix, and our friends at RxCherryPick are lowering cost of goods. And there's tons of resources in there. If you would like to if you're a member, hop in there, add all of your team, have your team start going through these places. If you are not a member and would like more information, in the replay, there will be an invitation to have a one-on-one call with our head coach, our awesome coach, Mike. He can walk you through all of this and even give you a little insight. And he may have some tricks up his sleeve for you, maybe a free month membership trial, or something like that. Who knows what that guy's going to do? But you get 1 hour of his time, which is fantastic, just for coming on the actually just for registering, because this will be sent out in our replay. So that's really how this all ties in, and how valuable we think RxCherryPick is there actually what did I call you earlier? Actually a piece of our matrix on there.
You shouldn't have shown me that, because then I saw the triage thing, and you have cash flow safety net, and that's an RxCherry. That happens in 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And you're right. I probably should have started there with those KPIs. And then
no. I'm glad you even let me see that stuff. It's a dangerous thing to let me see stuff.
So that is what we're doing, how we're working. Let's see. I just got another. Oh, okay. It's just Scott helping me out. If you guys have any questions at all, about anything we talked about, feel free to reach out to Craig. His information will be in our replay. As always, reach out to me, Scott, Lisa, Mike, any of us. It's our first name or info@diversify.com. Even if it's not about this webinar or about pharmacy profit tickets, Lisa's not officially back from vacation yet, so I'm still trying to get some tickets sold before she comes back. But that's all. That's all for today. We'll have another one the 17th. When's our next? I should probably know this stuff. The 24th, July 24th will be our next awesome summer series. Having a tongue twister. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your week. Go be profitable. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.